Philly coming in at a favorite. Boy, how many times this year you think you're going to get to bet on the Dodgers as underdogs? But Sheehan's going for Dodgers, Sanchez for Phillies. I can't bet on Sanchez right now, Steve. I'm interested in your take. He's not horrible, but I just don't think he's what he was at the beginning of the season. But how do you break this down?
Yeah, definitely not what he was at the beginning of the season. To put this in perspective, he still has a 2.6 ERA on the year, even though his last 7 starts since early June, he has a 5.1 ERA. So he has a 5.05 ERA his last 7 starts. He's still at 2.6 for the season. That tells you how strong he was to start the year. And yes, there's potential there, but momentum, current results are so important, and it's not misleading. Sanchez has been lit up his last 2 outings. Before the All-Star break on July 6th, he gave up 12 hits in just 3 innings, 9 runs. Yes, he only gave up 2 runs in 7 innings coming back on July 11th, but it's a little misleading. He gave up 10 hits in those 7 innings of work. So I still think he's given up a lot of hits, 22 hits in his last 10 innings, his last 2 outings. I think that's a bad sign. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit deeper than just earned runs. I still think probably the best metric overall, better than ERA, is whip. Whip it good is walks and hits plus innings pitched. And the hits have definitely been flying. So the Dodgers are a dangerous team when you're giving up hits. Obviously, they're offensively capable. Weird series in the Yankees. They had the low-scoring game 1. Saturday, I did a video for the Saturday night game. I thought it'd be higher scoring, and they postponed it because of the smoke, which was really a factor. Luckily for the World Cup, it cleared out with some rains and everything on Saturday, and the rains they got up there in the Northeast as well. So they played the doubleheader against the Yankees yesterday, won the game 8-2, and then lost 2-1. So you do have to worry about a little bit of a hangover. Even though this is a huge game against the Phillies, maybe a little bit of a letdown after playing the Yankees this past weekend. Phillies also, though, coming off a big series against the Mets. Right out of the gate, I did a free play video last Thursday for that ESPN Spotlight game. I mentioned that, the drawdown after the layoff, the All-Star break, could sometimes be a letdown for hot teams. It can revitalize struggling teams. The Mets were 40-57 heading into the All-Star break. They went 2-1 against Philly on the road this past weekend. I actually liked the Mets yesterday in that 6-1 win. I gave out the Phillies on Saturday as my free play in their 6-1 win. As I mentioned, I had a free play on the Mets on Thursday. So I was a perfect 3-0 in that series with free plays and selections overall. So I had a good read on it. Still think the Phillies are a legitimate team. Don Mattingly, favorite to be the National League Manager of the Year, even though he didn't take over till a month in because he has turned this team around. Not a great spot for either squad after the big weekend series. I do still think Sanchez is hittable, and Sheehan has been very hittable as well. 4.8 ERA overall this year. And if you go back to his last 7 starts since June 1st, 5.0 ERA. So 2 pitchers that have been getting weaker here the last couple months. 2 very capable offenses, yet the total is only 8.5. We always talk about how 9 is such a key number. I like the over in this one, over 8.5 between the Phillies and Dodgers at 7 Eastern tonight on Monday.
What do you have up for everyone?
Yeah, so like I said, we're churning along in baseball. We're being very selective. We have swept every board so far since the All-Star break, and we're looking to do it again tonight. The strongest baseball play on the board for Monday is isolated on my page right now, along with a bonus free play in that Pirates-Yankees game. Even if you're doing your own handicapping every day, make it part of your handicapping routine to check out my page for that detailed analysis and free play, and also look at tonight's best bet. And don't forget, buy 3 days, get 3 days. It's still in effect. And also the 6-week special, every all sports best bet for baseball, NFL preseason, and that first week of college football is also available. No promo codes needed. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker. WT.buzz/SM.
We got Shane Baz going for Baltimore and Tolley for Boston. Boston, pretty big favorite here, over under 8.5. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, it's another team. We talked about this on last call this past Saturday. Brian Leonard and myself, we broke down the Tampa Bay Boston game on Saturday. And, I mentioned earlier how a lot of times that, all-star break, the bye in the NFL or college football, it's kind of a momentum changer, meaning like cold teams need it, like the Mets. They went 2-1 out of the gate here this past week, whereas the Phillies cooled off a bit. Well, that hasn't been the case for the Red Sox. And it's not always just a written rule. It's just kind of a premise I look at. And Red Sox are a team you really do not want to get in front of right now. They are red hot, to say the least. Came on an extended run into the All-Star break, and they have kept it going since. In fact, they're 4-0 out of the break, and it's not misleading. Offensive momentum, baby. They put up 28 runs in those 4 games against Tampa Bay on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we always talk about don't try to catch a falling knife. Well, Gabe Morency and I years ago came up with the contrary to that, a hot team. Don't try to jump in front of a speeding bullet or a speeding train, whatever phrase you want to use. And this is momentum right now with the Red Sox. So it's really hard to fade Boston. With that said, though, my Baltimore Orioles, as a child, we didn't have the Washington Nationals. They've always been my Baltimore Orioles. They've quietly won 7 in a row in this series so far, including 3 straight after the break, all 3 at Houston in impressive wins this past weekend. So 2 of the hottest teams in baseball. I really don't want to get in front of either one of them right now. So here again, what is the case when you normally have hot teams? Well, as I said, there's usually offensive momentum. Let's not overthink this one. Pun intended. We'll look at the over 9 here, and we're actually getting plus money over 9 or over 8 minus 120. I prefer the over 8 minus 120 because, once again, 9 is a very key number. The reason being, if it's 4-4, it has to land 9 or more because there are no ties in baseball except in one All-Star game a couple decades ago. I think both these teams can hit the ball tonight. And if you look at the pitching matchup, also 2 very hittable pitchers as well. Both of them have ERAs over 4 their last 7 starts going back to early June. And keep in mind, I talk about a lot of these guys have worse numbers here than the beginning of the season. That makes sense because you normally see that league-wide for a couple of reasons. First of all, pitchers are usually ahead of the offenses early in the season. We see that in football as well. Defenses are ahead of the offenses. We're going to see some low preseason NFL games next month when they start, low scoring that is. But also because of the weather. Ball travels better in hot air in August, late July, August, than it does in April and May or, late March even. So do look for some scoring in this game. I like the offensive momentum, and I also think both pitchers are hittable. So we'll play over 9, even or preferably over 8.5 minus 120. So shop around, find the best number in this one at 7 Eastern.
Steve, dog days of summer. What are you focusing on now at this time of year?
Yeah, baseball. It's a slow grind, and we've been off to a nice, perfect sweep since the All-Star break. We've had 1 play per day, and we've won every one of them so far this second half of the season. I've got one best bet tonight on Monday. And, of course, the bonus free play, when you're selective, that last cut that is just a bit outside is a strong opinion still. So I highly recommend people go get the bonus free play every day also, including a free play in the Pirates-Yankees game tonight on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.